topic. What's the best movie and the best game that you watched and played this year, 2016, which we only have a few days left of? What you got?
Best movie, got to go with Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Great way to round out the year. I know, and I can just kind of leave what I said about it when during our review of it. Best game, I'd probably say for me is probably Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because I mean, for me, I kind of dabbled in Arkham Asylum. Never actually played Arkham City, even though I know that was
it's
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. So
they just got the remasters out now for PS4, I think too.
Yep. But
I played on the 3, but
but just like the entire experience, having Kevin Conroy doing the voice, and actually just kind of seeing this, essentially this armored Batman.
How big it is! Watching you play that, where you're flying through the city.
Oh yeah. I mean, just the total open world element. Like this is kind of how Batman can and should be, and I thought that was amazing. And
I got to get back into that.
They're phenomenal games.
I only got like 10% through it, but and just too much stuff happened, and didn't have time to get back into it. I got to get back into that.
Yeah, I mean, the story was solid. Again, not as strong as Arkham City, but still, really cool.
I'm surprised they didn't do something original. I mean, all they did is copy Under the Red Hood, but changed it a little bit.
Well, they did, but they also kind of changed it as far as this is the end of Batman.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
did you beat it?
I didn't. Well, I beat it, but I didn't get to the actual
good ending. Yeah. If you get all the Riddler trophies or something.
Yeah. Like if you capture everybody, like it's 100% completion.
Right.
You didn't get to that point, but yeah. I mean, it was. I like what they did with that game, and especially with what I got this last year, which is just like this embarrassment of riches as far as like AAA titles go.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I'm looking at them right now, and I'm like, oh my god! I mean, it's just the level of stuff that's kind of just come out that I was able to get this last, I would say like these last 18 months. I mean, it's incredible.
Sony's been killing it for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, the Uncharted series, obviously. I even picked up, obviously Witcher 3.
Think you'll ever get back to Witcher?
I know I will. It's just a matter of. It's going to have to be circumstances where I just find myself, I give me a day, and then from that day, there will then be another day, and then another day, and then another day, because...
That game is so dense.
Yeah.
And for your addiction to...
perfection.
That and just all the options, because I know that's one of the things that you love so much. It's like heroin for you.
Oh, yeah. It's sweet heroin.
Riding the horse.
Remember that, kids.
Yeah. I'm having fun chasing the dragon.
Shun the non-believer! I remember watching you play Arkham Knight and thinking that was kind of really one of the first games that made me tell a real visceral difference. Because some of the games in the beginning of the life cycle of PS4, I was like, I can't really tell if this is a PS3 or PS4. And then you see Arkham Knight and you're like, whoa, that ain't happening on PS3. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was awesome. Yeah. And movie, you said Rogue One?
Gotta go with Rogue One. Yep.
Yeah, that movie was okay.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
Matthew?
What you got for us?
Yeah, I agree. It was okay. I'm going to have to start with games because I was a late adopter of the PS3, so I haven't made the conversion to the 4. The way that it's looking I probably will be going to a PS4 based on what I'm seeing next year.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess the game I found myself playing the most this year, and I found the most original, and the game I kept going back to, and I probably had the most longevity in, and it was a mobile game. And
if you say Farmville, I'm gonna end the call.
It was Farmville. 2. No. No, honestly, it was Pokemon Go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that I picked up for my kid, and I ended up playing it.
That's actually a really good pick.
Mm-hmm. And I love the game. I loved being able to go out and walk and get points and hatch eggs. I loved going to different Pokestops and getting Pokeballs and then finding new Pokemon. I actually thought it was an awesome game. For a mobile application, it was a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it had its kind of issues that you had because you kept getting the same things over and over again. but it still had enough new stuff and enough things where you could evolve character or evolve Pokemon to the next level. That I played that more than anything this year,
Are you still
even
playing
more
it?
than a console. Yeah, I have it on. I'll check in a few times a week, Pokestops. They've changed a little bit now where you get like bonuses depending on how frequently you're logging in because they've seen some attrition.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. But we all saw that coming. I mean, that
But
surge
yeah,
was the biggest, actually, in history, the biggest adoption of a video game ever in history by a large
yeah,
margin. I mean,
oh
remember
yeah,
that in Facebook when that first came out? It was everywhere.
oh yeah. I remember the weekend we got it. We're driving around, and my wife has my phone out, and we're driving through parks and stuff like that where they say they're Pokestops, and there's other people that are driving and playing at the same time, and there's people walking. Everybody has their phone in their hand. Everybody's looking at it, and they're all going to the same places.
Hmm.
I mean, I'd never seen anything like that.
No.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be talking about that decades. God, remember when Pokemon Go came out? Because, yeah, everybody that never even played video games were out there
Yeah.
getting into this.
Well, yeah, I work with a guy that's in his mid 50s, and he still plays it. He hacked his phone so he could go to like San Francisco and Australia to get Pokemon that we don't have here. I mean, and he doesn't play video games, but he plays Pokemon Go.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, as far as like, it was awesome in what it did because the first weekend we had it, we drove around to these different Pokestops, and I found things in my own neighborhood. And we talked about it before, other than crack addicts. I found like art installations. I found things like memorials and stuff in my city that I never would have saw had it not been for that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think what they did was great.
Yeah, it definitely got
And if you
people.
can get a kid out of the house,
Right.
by all means.
Got a lot of people out. Got a lot of people moving around that might be shut-ins. They got a lot of introverts out to go and actually talk to more people. I mean, I'm sure that you're always going to have your cynics and, the negative people say, well, yeah, but what about all the people that, were driving and weren't paying attention? If you got 180 million people worldwide playing something, you're going to have, okay.
Yeah.
But
How many
about
people do
the
you have
positives?
texting and driving and getting in accidents? They don't seem to be bashing that, do they?
Well played, sir.
I hate texting.
Still blows my mind how many people do that when you know that at least half the people that do that could just as easily just hold down the button and say, hey, send Matt a text. What's going on? Question mark. But no. I remember being in the car with a friend of mine. He's like, hey, would you send this person a text and tell him this? And I literally looked at him and I took the phone and I go, send text to this person, and then repeated his sentence and then just handed it back. I'm like, why are you intentionally making this so hard? That's cool. How about movie?
See, Rogue One is the most recent, but I mean, I saw a lot of good movies this year. So it's hard. I mean, I can't.
Well, what were your
I'll
top
give
few,
Rogue
then?
One the top notch right now. But I loved Captain America: Civil War. I thought at the time that was the best Marvel movie I'd seen.
Better than Cap 2 and Avengers?
Yeah, to me, it was the most complete. It had characters in it, but I didn't leave the theater like, oh well, they should have done this or they should have changed that. I mean, Captain America: Winter Soldier was a great movie.
Yeah.
I didn't see that last year though.
No. I'm in agreement with you. I did kind of ask a leading question. I'm like, really? That one? Well, these were better. Well, that's not what the fucking question was, Ben. So why don't you shut your trap?
What about Citizen Kane?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What about the #1 movie of all time?
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Civil
but
War
I
was
mean,
good.
the thing is I think about, and I had to go back and look at some of these movies because I couldn't remember what came out when. It seems like it's been a long year, but I saw Deadpool twice in the theater, and I can't tell you the last time I saw a movie twice in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I mean, was it at the caliber of Rogue One? No.
Well,
But it was a
potato,
great comic
potato.
book movie.
Best is really subjective.
Yeah, and there's the movies I go out and see. I go out and see them because I want to see them, and I guess I've been fortunate enough to not be let down by the ones I have gone to the theater to see.
Mm.
So
Oh, that's cool.
That's a
No,
good
that
feeling.
works.
It's a good feeling.
For game wise, honestly, Arkham Knight definitely went through my head because I think that game's amazing. But I got to go with Uncharted 4. Like it was just a perfect. watching the graphical fidelity bump. I mean, I know that the first 3 were all on PlayStation 3, but even watching the graphical fidelity of the games increased so much, it was almost like they were on different systems. Don't get me wrong, 1's still great, but you can definitely, even the remasters from 1 to 3, huge difference. But they're all so much fun to play. But 4 is basically one of the best. You could tell there was a lot of Last of Us because it was from the same director and makers.
Yeah.
Inspiration that went into that game. But it was such a good fucking story. It was Uncharted fun. It was graphically gorgeous, but it was such a great bookend to the whole 3. So you could play it on, by yourself without playing the other 3. Don't do that. If you really want to get Uncharted, play the first 3 first. Actually, I platinumed the first 2. I still got to platinum the third. Maybe that's
get on it.
Yeah.
No.
Got to get my platinum on. But the 4th was such a great bookend because it encapsulates everything from like a precursor to the first one with story, all the stuff that makes sense and intertwines. There's a lot of homages to the first 3 that I'm not going to spoil for anyone that hasn't played it because that gives you something to do this holiday season. And then the ending was awesome. And I know there's a lot of traits that you see in the Uncharted games that come from some of the biggest cinematic stuff that, like Indiana Jones, stuff like that. This one had Goonies all over it.
Oh, Goonies.
Yeah,
that's right.
And in the best way.
Truffle shuffle, baby.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to clarify. Okay. I don't mean watching 5 little boys run around.
You see this one?
Yeah.
This one was my wish.
Yeah.
And it didn't come
It
true.
didn't come true. And my wish was to be a big star someday, and that ain't gonna happen, Corey Feldman. Obviously not the character stuff, but just the hunting for pirates. And then one of the coolest aspects of watching these Uncharted games is you get to something where you're like, God, look how big this is. Then you get a clue and you go somewhere and you talk to some people and you do something and you're like, holy crap, that was like 5% of the game. Then you get to this other area is huge, and that just keeps happening over and over. But it's definitely at its epitome in 4 when you go to Madagascar, and there's some stuff I'm not going to go away when they get to these other secret places and stuff with pirate ships and in mountains. And it was so good. It was so fulfilling. The ending is awesome. It actually made me want to go watch Goonies. So I actually watched Goonies again just to remember how great that Richard Donner movie is. But Uncharted 4 definitely is just so much fun to play and watch. I don't know. I love that game.
Uncharted 4, The Search for One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah.
Man, we could actually just spend the next 20 minutes if we need to stretch this out talking about Goonies. Because I watched that, when I watched that again, that movie's fucking awesome.
It is. It's an awesome movie.
When they break off the dick off of his mom's statue. Oh, my mom's favorite
Wouldn't
piece!
be there if it wasn't.
Yeah. The poor Asian kid that's got all the contraptions and it's so racist now looking back on it, but
Slick shoes, are you crazy?
As far as best movie, obviously this stuff popped in my head. Rogue One, Civil War, obviously we're in the top 2 or 3. I don't even know specifically. I could have taken the effort to actually look and see when this movie actually came out, but I don't have the energy, or I got plenty of time. I didn't want to do that. I think it came out this year, and even if it didn't, maybe it was last year. But I was talking about this with a friend a couple days ago, and this popped into my head. Kung Fury. Kung Fury on Netflix.
Oh, God.
It's so goddamn good, and it's so out of left field. Do you even know what that is? Have you seen it?
No,
It's
no
not
idea.
even a full movie.
I have Netflix, and
It's
I'm
like 42 minutes.
Yeah, but it's registered as a motion picture, so
Yeah.
it is so goddamn funny. Imagine
Oh my god.
if
So are the Fast and Furious movies. They're supposed to be motion pictures too.
don't you fucking knock on that. You can knock on the trailers and the 8th one all you want to. No, Kung Fury is
I've touched a nerve.
call the police. Take the Lonely Island guys that started at Saturday Night Live and imagine them getting creative control to make a stereotypical 80s action movie that is very poorly on purpose dubbed, and you're watching like a VHS copy of it, so sometimes the scan lines come up that mess up the picture.
Random just jumps in
Random.
scenes with the blue screen in between.
Yeah. And it's so like this. How do you describe
Well,
it?
again, it's 42 minutes, but you have to cram in
Yeah.
like every 80s cliche and
The
genre.
Streets of Rage rolled up denim sleeves, t-shirt,
Oh.
fighter cop. Gotta go back in time with your partner,
Triceracop.
who's a Triceratops and a police officer, to go back in time
Not the daddy.
to stop Hitler.
Not the mama.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. It's 42 minutes, is that right?
Yeah,
42
it's
minutes.
about 40 minutes.
It is definitely one of the best, the most. We couldn't stop laughing and go, "What is this?" It's like 4.5 star to 5-star rated out of thousands of reviews. And we're like, maybe we should give this a shot. It looks highly reviewed. Found out afterwards it was done by the Lonely Island guys. And it is so damn funny. You need to watch that tonight.
And pay attention because they do have the Power Glove in there.
Oh, God.
Oh, sweet.
So good. So that was, I don't know if that came out in 2016, but I watched it in 2016.
So
and
count it.
One of the most unexpected, this is goddamn hilarious. I can't believe that.
Well, they're actually developing that into a full movie, yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That's cool.